we've leaped into a full expression of our own divine power and magnificence, a greater experience of connection, aliveness, happiness, love, creativity, and abundance, and a life that is simply easier, just relaxing into that easiness. In other words, we have leaped into our zone of genius. And really, that is our God zone, our divine zone. Following the profound guidance from Gay Hendricks in his great book, The Big Leap, conquering your hidden fears and take life to the next level. Expressing our genius is expressing God, is expressing good. Because this is a place where we are productive, happy, peaceful, and we're living on purpose, and we are a blessing to the world. This world needs lots of blessings. So each and every one of us, we have that gift, and we need to share that gift, as that song so profoundly tells us. This series of talks has been very impactful for me, and I know for many of you as well. And once you have broken free of the upper limit problem, if you were here in June, you remember the ULPs, the ULPs, and working on it, or you don't have to be there already, because I think we're always a work in progress anyway. You've committed to living in that zone of genius that is yours, and you've begun to get some clarity on what that zone is for you. And your job is to learn to live in your zone all of the time, or at least most of the time. I would have to clarify that. Hendricks describes what a delicate tightrope walk, which eventually gets easy as we master the skills required to keep our balance in this new environment, possibly, because we're creating, we're always creating. Fortunately, he doesn't leave us hanging. He gives us, in his book, he gives us lots of experiences that have proven to work. And you are all familiar with trial and error, correct? Well, some of you are, okay. Well, others you will learn. I hope it's easy. Anyways, always better later than never, yeah? One time an interviewer asked a successful businessman what he attributed his success to. And the businessman replied, 2 words, right decisions. And the interviewer asked, how do you make right decisions? And the businessman said 1 word, experience. The interviewer, how do you get experience? And the businessman had 2 words, wrong decision. That's how we learn. So there is no such thing as a mistake or no such thing as failure. We learn, if we open our mind to that, we learn from those experiences. So this morning we will learn from those who have gotten that experience. And our 3 shortcuts to living in this zone of genius are using the ultimate success mantra, unleashing the power of an enlightened no, and living in Einstein time. So using the ultimate success mantra. As students of Science of Mind, New Thought, we all know the power of our thoughts and our words, and we all know that what we have in consciousness manifests in our lives. We all know, if we have been studying this long enough, we all know that it is the way life works. What we consciously focus on is what grows. So let's use the way life works to help us live in this zone of genius that we are, that we have and we truly are. And Hendricks writes this in the book. The ultimate success mantra is a comprehensive intention you use to center yourself in your zone of genius. It is a set of instructions for your consciousness and your subconscious mind to chew on, to digest, and to design information all of your actions and decisions are based on. If you use the ultimate success mantra as instructed, your life will gradually conform to the comprehensive intention contained within it. This is all Hendricks. I want you to mount a gentle but unstoppable offensive against conditions and conditioning. And the universal success mantra is the best way that I know how to do that. You're probably thinking right now, maybe, all right, enough already. You know, talking about it, what is it? Okay, so we're going to get into that today. Well, this is it. Here it is. And I'm going to say it once. I'm going to have you repeat it after me. Repeat it now. I expand in abundance.
I expand in abundance.
Success and love.
Success and love.
Every day.
Every day.
As I inspire those around me to do the same.
As I inspire those around me to do the same.
How simple, yet how profound. I put these all in your bulletins too, so they're in there. They're going to probably fall out, little strips of paper. But I wanted everyone to have it, yeah. So you can tape it up somewhere. Because I know how brilliant we are, but these human minds sometimes don't retain what we want to remember. So write it down, stick it up. So this mantra directly counters whatever your ULPs, upper limit problems, may be. They stop them. And this mantra is like an antidote to years of conditioning, of doing and thinking the same thing, and think things are going to change. They won't change. Not until we change. So here are two ways to use it. One, you can use it in your meditation practice before you go into it. Just repeat this and then go into your meditation. Or you can use it and in your daily life to repeat it as your mantra, as your affirmation. Put it up somewhere so you're just reminded. You're just reminded. So the second shortcut to living in your zone of genius is the enlightened no. It's I love this one. It's very simple concept, right? Not so simple to implement for some people. It is a very, like I said, simple concept. You produce an enlightened no when you turn down something that doesn't align with you. It doesn't fit into your zone of genius. It's called an enlightened no because we're doing it consciously. We could all benefit from taking a careful look at the number of times we say yes to something we really don't want to do, and how we feel after we say yes to it. To things that do not clearly fit into our zone of genius. Even if they're beneficial for other reasons, those requests can eat up a great deal of our energy. Like we say yes to something and we're focusing on it or obsessing on it. I really don't want to do this. I don't know why I said yes. It goes on and on. So an enlightened no is a way of remaining in your zone of genius. Each time you say an enlightened no to something that does not serve your genius, you build a stronger foundation for yourself in that zone. My experience, one of my many experiences from 16 years ago, was leaving a former spiritual center that I really loved. And it was really hard to say no. But I did something within me, my enlightenment that I didn't know at the time, said yes. You do not do that. It's an enlightened yes. So we don't know sometimes what the unfolding of that yes is going to be, but we know it feels right. So it's very important not to, and they call them yes people. I've never really been a yes person, but a lot of people are. And it's like I see, and they don't really like what they're doing when they say that. So an enlightened no is so important to remain in that zone of your genius zone. And finally, for your life to work harmoniously, you need to develop a harmonious relationship with time, creating time for the full expression of your genius. This is very important. It's important for me too, big time. So the old paradigm, the Newtonian paradigm, says that there is only a finite amount of time, and that it must be carefully portioned out so there will be enough of it to do the things that we need to do. This paradigm looks at time as an outside thing and assumes that there is either a scarcity of it, which leads to an uncomfortable feeling of urgency inside of us, or there's too much of it, which then leads to boredom and wasting time. If you find yourself on your phone and tablet just using up time, that's boredom. That's a waste of time. And if you've ever thought about you've ever felt that way about time, join the club. Because I think a lot of us, I know I do, feel that way. I'm a charter member of that club. But there's hope. There's always hope, however. Because while the Newtonian view is where most of us start, Newtonian science, you have to be there first before you could move on and evolve. It is not how it actually works. Newtonian time scarcity is just the stage we are passing through, truly. Just as Newtonian physics was a stage we passed through on the way to Einstein's breakthrough and even further into the quantum realm, which is way beyond Einstein. So the new paradigm, Einstein time, it's a simplified explanation of the theory of relativity. An hour with participating in something that you really love, it can feel like a minute. You have the same clock on the wall, there's no clocks on this wall, but you have the same clock on the wall, but it feels like you've only been doing it a minute because you're so involved in it on the inside, the love. And sometimes when we're doing something we don't want to do, it feels like it's ours. And that's all in our perception, how we perceive. And if we really realize who we are as an expression of the source of all there is, then the source of time we know is within us. It's within us. Because in God, in the infinite allness of the universe, there is no time or space. So humans made it up. I don't see animals walking around with a wristband on them. 4 times if you're going to be late, get going. They don't operate by that time and space. We do. If we realize that's who we are, an expression of all that is, then the source of time is within us. Time is an effect. Okay? It's an effect. It's not a cause. It is not something that affects me. I create it. And if you're familiar with our logo, this is our logo, but it's a science of mind with other people in it. That top part is our thought. You see how it's divided into three? That top part is our thinking, the seed. That middle part is the law, our soul. And that bottom is the effect. So we think we don't have enough time, or we think we have too much time, and it becomes the effect that we live. That's the creative process that everything is based on in our teachings. So, the shift to Einstein time takes place the moment you embrace one simple truth. You are where time comes from. You are where time comes from. Have you ever noticed really, really busy people who get so much accomplished? I mean, it's been said, if you want something done, ask a very busy person, right? Because you wonder how do they get it all done? Well, they're operating in Einstein time. That's how. So, say this after me. I am where time comes from.
I am where time comes from.
I have the power to make as much time as I want.
I have the power to make as much time as I want.
Now believe that. That's the thing. Now believe that. Have you ever thought you were running really late for something? Oh my God, I spent half my life doing this. Really? Running late for something? And then you arrive and you're the first one there? Like all the time. I even try to be late. And it's just like you go through this anxiety before you even leave the house. I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late, I'm going to be late. And you're running around. Well, I am. Running around like a chicken without a body, or whatever they say. Or without a head. That would be me. And then I get there and I'm always early. I'm always early. But that's because I think there's a scarcity of time. So that's for me to always work on. When I remember to work on it, it's so important. And you take a trip. You're driving your car, getting there, and then you arrive at the place, and you have no idea how you got there. Ever do that? That's really like kind of scary, but that happens because we're so focused on something else. We arrive there. So Greg Braden writes in his book, The Isaiah Effect, Time and Group Will. He writes this. He tells a story, actually, of arriving in a bus from Mount Sinai to Cairo, Egypt, that should have taken 7 hours, and actually took a little more than half that time. So he writes this. Though the distance between Mount Sinai and Cairo had not changed, our experience of time while traveling the distance had. It was recorded on the wristwatches of every military man, armed guard, and passengers on the bus. It was as if our memories of the day in the present of one another had somehow been squeezed into an experience, a fraction of the time expected. And somehow this really, well, let me read what he says. Where was the rest of the time? Clearly, we were not aware of a phenomenon when it was occurring. The questions are, how did it happen and why? Perhaps herein we find the clue. In our innocence of anticipating the experiences within the pyramid, and speaking of the experiences as if we were already there inside these sacred chambers, our awareness shifted from how long was this trip taking and into that experience. And so it felt what it felt like to be there. So we do this, I know, when I go for car rides with a bunch of really fun women, usually, it feels like we get there in no time at all. I know it's a 2-hour ride, but it feels like 20 minutes because we're all so excited and we're all talking at the same time and we're all having a good time with it, right? And it's like there is no time. And then when you drive back, this is the best, you drive back and everybody's tired, so no one's talking at all. And it feels like 3 hours to get home. But that's because we're so caught up in time. We've learned, we wear these watches or not, but we're caught up in time and the scarcity of it. There's not enough time, or there's too much time. So quit thinking about time being out there. Take ownership of time. Acknowledge that you are where it comes from, your perception of it, and it will stop owning you. Notice in your conversations, this is how you can really tell. How often do you say things like, I wish I had time to chat, but I'm in a hurry. Where did the time go? I hear that all the time. There simply aren't enough hours in the day. If only I'd gotten an extra hour of sleep. Love to talk, but I gotta run. I don't have the time to do that right now. Each of those statements contains an overt or covert complaint, making us the victim of time. We become victims of time. And I have used every single one of those at some point, probably yesterday or the day before. So it's really paying attention to what we're thinking and what we're saying. Making it, the whole point of this is we are producing the time within ourselves, in our zone of genius. We can stretch it out, we can bend time. I've bent time. You're late, you really think you're late for something, and I just sit there in my car. This is when I don't remember when I arrive, and I say, I'm bending time. I am bending time. I'm going to be there way early, and you're driving, and you're not, well, if you're me, you're going fast, but you don't have to go fast. And you're bending time, and you arrive there with plenty of time left over, and it's like, there's no way that should have happened. Does anyone else do that? No, just me? Okay. Well, I'm working on it, folks. I am working on it. Jeez. So, the moment you stop complaining about time and start realizing, well, this is for me, since you all were so enlightened, then I get to be in my zone of genius and relax a little. Relax. Living in your zone of genius is where you are meant to be. It's where you are the happiest, the most peaceful, where you will be deliciously blessed. And it's where your gifts and talents will bless the world. Truly is. I want to end our time together today and our time spent on this whole theme on taking the big leap by returning to the ultimate success mantra. Hendricks said to use it 2 ways, and I already told you, meditation, and use it as an affirmation in your daily life. Just put it somewhere, stick it up somewhere so that you remember. Put it in your wallet so you remember. So I'd like to take a moment just to get centered in this. So if you feel like it, you can close your eyes. This is only for a few moments. Take a really nice deep breath. Just breathing in that, knowing that we are geniuses. My goodness, we even invent time. And we can also relax in knowing there is an infinite amount of time always there for us to do whatever it is we choose to do. and we remember our ultimate success mantra. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. Breathe that in and exhale. I expand in abundance, success, and love every day as I inspire those around me to do the same. Yes. And I'm going to end this with Ernest Holmes. This is a quote from Ernest Holmes. If there is an infinite creative intelligence which makes things out of itself by itself becoming the thing that it makes, then the creative genius of this universal mind is also the creative genius of its individualizations, which is what I am. Each and every one of us, he says, is the individualization of the divine self and an expression of creative genius as we move and leap into the zone of this genius. Our lives are guaranteed to be fulfilling, to be successful, and to be inspiring. And so it is.
And so it is.